The little girl tightly grabbed the stranger's leg, crying and begging her to save her. Unexpectedly, the human trafficker rushed over, frightening the little girl into trembling. Then the trafficker pulled and tugged at the little girl. This scene caught the stranger's attention. She quickly stood up to ask what was happening. The trafficker, afraid the girl would cry for help, covered the girl's mouth with his hand. Pretending to be amiable, said the child was just arguing with her, apologizing for disturbing everyone. Passengers on the boat also advised the girl, telling her not to run around and to listen to her mother. The girl angrily broke free to explain. She said the woman was not her mother but a trafficker. Everyone quickly told the trafficker to release the girl, but the trafficker cunningly said the child was just saying angry words. The girl struggled again and cried for help, hoping uncles and aunts would save her. This scene was seen by the CEO looking for his daughter. She immediately stood up for the girl, asking if the girl had anything to prove the woman wasn't her mother. The girl, clinging to hope, said she had photos of her parents and could show them to everyone. The trafficker immediately pretended to be pitiful, blocking others from seeing the photos. This aroused the CEO's suspicion. The CEO asked the trafficker to release the girl first, to let the girl show the photos to everyone, to let everyone judge for themselves. Unexpectedly, the trafficker still refused, worried the girl would run if she let go. The CEO said the boat hadn't docked yet, and asked where the girl could run. Besides, so many people were watching. Everyone agreed with the CEO. The trafficker had no choice but to release the girl's hand. Just as the girl was about to take out the photos, the trafficker's accomplice arrived, pretending to be the girl's father with her younger sister, shouting at her to stop making trouble. The girl wanted to rush forward to protect her sister, but the man trafficker's act was convincing, making everyone think it was a family dispute. To allay everyone's doubts, the man trafficker falsely accused the girl, saying she was fighting for her parents' love. Even if she hated her sister, she shouldn't abandon her. The girl was stunned by what she heard. The trafficker took the opportunity to say the child loved to lie and steal, apologizing to everyone for the disturbance. This manipulative tactic left the girl speechless, but the CEO knew it wasn't that simple, believing their words were one-sided, since they couldn't prove they were the girl's parents, nor let the girl show the photos. Maybe they really were traffickers. The trafficker couldn't respond. Seeing he was about to be exposed, the captain arrived with a loudspeaker, announcing the boat was about to dock, asking everyone to pack up and prepare to disembark. The trafficker was overjoyed, thinking they had escaped. To prevent the CEO from causing more trouble, she quickly complained to the captain, saying the child was just angry, and called her a trafficker out of spite. But the CEO wouldn't let go. The trafficker had no choice but to ask the captain to testify for her. The grandmother held a sharp axe, intending to kill her granddaughter. The little girl saw her grandmother closing in step by step. Frightened, she quickly turned and ran. The grandmother immediately called for the girl's father to chase her. The little girl ran desperately to her mother's grave, crying and telling her mother her grievances. It turned out that half an hour earlier, when she called her stepmother for dinner, she caught her stepmother secretly meeting another man. Scared, she dropped her flashlight and ran home. When her stepmother returned home, she threatened her not to tell anyone, or she would beat her to death. The frightened girl backed away, but was pushed by her grandmother into her stepmother, causing her stepmother to have a miscarriage. In anger, the grandmother picked up an axe, step by step, closing in on the little girl, intending to kill her. At this moment, the little girl shook a bell at her mother's grave. This was a secret signal between her and her mother. Whenever she rang the bell, it meant she missed her mother. Unexpectedly, the bell sound attracted her father. The little girl hurriedly hid behind her mother's grave, barely escaping the danger. That night, a man from the neighboring village found the girl lying at his door. From her, he learned that her family despised her, and that if they caught her, they would kill her. The couple, unable to have children, thought it might be fate, so they decided to adopt the little girl. However, the malicious mother-in-law vehemently opposed, because there was already an adopted girl in the family, and adding another mouth to feed would be too difficult. The little girl immediately knelt, begging the old woman not to drive her away. She said she could do laundry and cooking and help with many chores. Seeing how sensible the girl was, the adoptive mother felt deeply for her. She firmly told the mother-in-law that no one could stop her from adopting the girl. Mother-in-law, infuriated, stomped her feet and threw a tantrum. The next morning, during breakfast, the girl was too timid to pick up her chopsticks. The adoptive mother quickly handed her a bun to eat. Mother-in-law, unhappy, banged the table in protest. But the adoptive mother, not one to pamper the mother-in-law, dropped her chopsticks and went to the kitchen to fetch a knife, frightening the mother-in-law, who asked what she was doing. The daughter-in-law poured out her years of suffering, asking why she couldn't just adopt a girl. The mother-in-law had no choice but to begrudgingly agree. Thus, the little girl stayed in her new home, protected by her adoptive mother. Soon after, the girl's stepmother and her lover, while chatting over a meal, heard that the company's female CEO wanted to adopt a child. The man, seeing an opportunity, told the CEO they had a 10-year-old daughter, but due to poverty and the wife's frail health, they wanted to give their daughter to a good family for adoption. The CEO immediately gave them 1,000 yuan, telling them to first take the wife to see a doctor, and promised another 200,000 yuan as a retirement fund if they brought the child in 3 days. The couple was overjoyed. After leaving the restaurant, they decided to kidnap a child for money. They searched everywhere everywhere for a target. By chance, they ran into the adoptive mother's mother-in-law. The man lied, saying he and his wife had no children for years, and desperately wanted to adopt a girl. The old woman, thinking about the girl at home, saw a chance to get rid of the burden. The man immediately took out 200 yuan, saying he wanted to adopt. The old woman, overjoyed, told him to wait on mountain that night, and to take the girl they saw catching rabbits, to secretly sell her granddaughter. The ruthless grandmother lied, telling the girl they were going to catch rabbits. The little girl believed her and took a flashlight up the mountain. Unaware that the traffickers were already lying in wait, they deliberately released a few rabbits to lure the girl, then captured her. The woman picked up her son from school and came home, to find her husband lying on the neighbor widow's lap. Furious, she immediately asked for a divorce, but when she tried to take their daughter with her, she found the daughter was missing. She asked her husband where their daughter was. He said he had sold their daughter long ago. Hearing this, the woman's heart shattered. She recalled how she had given up her wealthy status for love, only to end up like this. Devastated, she threw away her wedding ring, and left with her son without looking back. But as soon as they left, the man couldn't help but pick up the ring from the ground, feeling extremely distressed, because everything that just happened was an act he put on. Not long ago, the man had taken their sick daughter to ask his father-in-law for money. The father-in-law agreed to help, but on one condition: the man had to leave his wife immediately, and never see her or their children again. Though the man was unwilling to save his daughter's life, he reluctantly agreed to the condition, so he enlisted the neighbor widow to stage the scene. In reality, he hadn't sold their daughter. He had hidden her in a wardrobe. 18 years later, the man struggled to raise his daughter by delivering food. The daughter inherited her mother's artistic talent and loved dancing since childhood. One day, she mustered the courage to audition for the Qingya Ballet Company, unaware that this company was run by her mother. On the day of the audition, due to a staff mistake, the girl was led into a room filled with fancy dresses. She saw a particularly beautiful dress. Mistaking it for her audition outfit, she put it on. During the selection, she danced gracefully in that dress, attracting everyone's attention. But then a rich heir walked in. Seeing the girl wearing the dress he had prepared for his sister, he angrily rushed over and pushed her to the ground. The girl explained that the theater staff had given her the dress, and she was just following the audition process. But the rich heir wouldn't listen to her explanation, forcing her to kneel and apologize. During their struggle, the dress was accidentally torn. This enraged the rich heir even more. In his anger, he ordered that all her clothes be stripped off. Meanwhile, the girl's father came to pick her up from the ballet company. He overheard the security guards talking about the rich heir possibly bullying his daughter. When he tried to go up, the security stopped him, so he had to climb the stairs. Finally reaching the 23rd floor, he saw a poster of his ex-wife. Realizing that the theater belonged to his ex-wife, he wasted no time and rushed to save his daughter. Seeing his daughter being bullied, he rushed forward to protect her. At that moment, the rich heir looked at the man in front of him, and seemed to recognize him as his father.